Hello everybody, I hope everyone is doing well. I am fine myself. Let's get started. Our first root is seller, and the meaning of this root is fast. I'm going to go ahead and underline this. It's a commonly used root. I'm going to write decelerate. Decelerate. I'm going to go ahead and underline the root so you guys can see clearly. Decelerate. Actually, I'm going to take that in a small box. And the definition of this is to reduce speed. And I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence. And I'm going to write, he decelerated his car as he approached his destination. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you guys. He decelerated his car as he approached his destination. Moving on to our next root. Cent. Central or centri, meaning center, as you could have guessed. And I'm going to give you an example word, egocentric. And the meaning of this is self-centered. And if I wanted to use this in a sentence, I'm going to say, she is an egocentric girl according to her friends. Moving on to our next root, which is cert. I'm going to go ahead and underline this, guys, since this is commonly used, and the meaning of this is sure. I'm going to go ahead and underline this. And I'm going to give you two examples for this root. One of them is certify. Certify. And the meaning of this is to state that something is true. And my second example is going to be that is commonly used is the word certain. And the meaning of that is being absolutely sure. I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence, and I'm going to pick this word right here, certain. I'm going to go ahead and take that in a small box, put it in a small box so you can see. And I'm going to say, he wasn't, or he wasn't certain of his plans for today with his friends. Right, now let's move on to our next root. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Chromato, or cross. And the meaning of this is color, pigment. And I'm going to give you example word with the definition. Let's say chromium. And the definition is a blue, white, metallic, chemical, element. And I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence. I'm going to say chromium is a blue, white, metallic element. Moving on to our next root. This is also commonly used, chrono, meaning time. I'm going to go ahead and underline this since it is commonly used. I'm going to give you an example word. I'm going to give you two. One of them is going to be chronic, and the meaning of that is lasting for a long time. My next word is going to be synchronize. Nice. And I'm gonna sorry about that. I'm gonna give you the definition, which is happening at the same time. And I'm going to use this in a sentence. I'm going to go ahead and choose this word right here, chronic. I'm going to say he has a, well, let's go ahead and do it like this. He had a chronic disease since he was a child. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you one more time. He had a chronic disease since he was a child. Moving on to our next root is seed, cis. And this means cut and to kill. This is another commonly used root, so I'm going to go ahead and underline this for you. And if I wanted to give an example word, I would say homicide. Homicide. Meaning murder. As we all know, homo here means human. And side, like I said before, means to kill. And when you combine these two words, you get murder. And I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence. the homicide detective came to the crime area. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you one more time. The homicide detective came to the crime area. Moving on to our next root is circum. And circle, meaning around. I'm going to go ahead and give you an example word. Circum, spect, meaning looking around. Now when we take circumspect, I'm going to show you guys right now. When we take circumspect, first of all, let's write circum. Circum means around. And we're going to see in our upcoming lessons, for example, spec. Spec means to look. And when we combine these two together, you get looking around. And I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence. I'm going to say, he was circumspecting the area. Right, moving on to our next root is claim, clam. And the meaning of this is to shout and speak out. And if I wanted to use this in a, actually, first of all, let me give you an example word. Exclaim. And the meaning of exclaim is to cry out loudly. I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence. He exclaimed so hard that his neighbors called the police. Moving on to our next root is clar. And clar means clear. I'm going to go ahead and underline this since this is a commonly used root, and I'm going to give you an example word. Actually, I'm going to give you two example words. One of them is clarification. Clarification. And the meaning of this is an explanation. Meaning to explain something to someone. Our next word is clarify. Same as clarification, to make something clear, to explain something, to make something clear. And I'm going to use this in a sentence, I'm going to go ahead and put that in a box. The boss wanted clarification about the project. Moving on to our last root is CLUD plus. Like I said, guys, this is another important root. I'm going to go ahead and underline it for you after I write this. It means to close. I'm going to go ahead and underline this for you. And I'm going to give you an example word. Actually, I'm going to give you two example words. One of them is conclusion, meaning the end, or last part. The next word I'm going to give you is seclude. Seclude. And I'm going to go ahead and underline this root for you guys so you can see more clearly. And that means to keep away from. I'm going to go ahead and take this word right here and use it in a sentence. The conclusion of the story was very depressing. That's it for today, you guys. I hope you had fun. I sure did.